Hello, hi. Is this the owner of an avenue?
It is.
Hello, hi. My name is Zach. I'm calling my business cell, so this might be a recorded line. I'm calling here on the Zillow ad I see. I was just seeing if
Yes,
you're still looking to sell the property.
I would be interested
Okay.
if
Uh,
it's reason if it's an offer that makes sense for me in my situation.
okay. What's your name?
My name is Jeremy.
Jeremy. Nice to meet you, Jeremy.
Yeah,
So,
you as well, Zach.
yeah. So I'm looking at. I said I might potentially look to buy it. It might not be a good fit. I just am calling around, seeing some info on it. Um,
Right.
can you tell me a little bit about the property here? I know I've been reading the description, but it's not, as big as others. So I was just trying to see what's going on with the house.
Yes. Right now it's gutted, and
Oh,
I have to go up there and clean up my partner who was to do the work, quote unquote partner. He's abandoned the property now, basically damaged everything, destroyed everything, and so it's gutted. He's done very little to nothing in work there over the course of these 3 months because it was a fix and flip of ours as well. He came to me and wanted me to finance this, and so at this point, I have the means to salvage. It's just a question of whether, if I had an offer to buy me out, I would take it. Even if I break even, I'd be like, hey, let's just because it would be a thorn out of my side. But the break even point would be, I have to go through the numbers again, but it's going to be pretty tough. I can't imagine anyone wanting to buy it. I don't know, but the break even point is about 240,000. That's
got
how
it.
much we've put into it. But that's including materials such as cabinets. Uh, we've got butcher block countertops. We've got a lot of materials there, including drywall, flooring. There's a whole bunch of materials there that have already been paid for, and they're sitting there in the house. I'd be happy to include those in the purchase. And so you'd already have most of the materials to get it done. But that's the break even point. It's about
Okay.
240,000. If I had that, I would walk.
Okay.
If I don't, I'll just have to end up finishing the project myself. I mean, obviously hiring others to get it done, but that's where I'm at, to be perfectly candid.
Hey, I get it. I fix and flip some nightmare houses too. Um, Usually it's the situations with the property, not the other person. Is this other person? I don't name names, making them feel bad, but is this person also on the deed on the property?
That's the other thorn in my side that I'm working towards. I've already had a consultation with attorneys, well, with one. Uh, I say attorneys because I've got other things going on, but I know that he's got to sign off because yes, his LLC is on title. He probably, the organization he has, he probably doesn't have an operating agreement, so I'm going to need his wife to sign on the quick claim deed as well. I've got an appraisal scheduled for tomorrow so that I can bring him to the reality of the value of the house and show him, look, here's the appraisal, here's our comparables that they've done in the appraisal. This is what it's worth. If we're under, do you want to take on the loss? Because if not, then go ahead and sign the quick claim deed. Let's get you off title. If the slight likelihood of actually having a little bit of equity from what we've put into it, and we're not under, then I'm happy to split up according to our partnership agreement, as long as he's willing to sign off on title. So we got some things in place to get him off title. We'll see if he responds. I hope he does, because he hasn't talked to me. He might be waiting for that because it's in the partnership agreement on March 1st. We'll have the appraisal, and I've already informed him we're doing the appraisal and getting things underway. So I have yet to see how that pans out, how that plays out.
Okay. What was his main issue, if you don't mind me asking?
Nah, I'm pretty open, possibly to my detriment, but, a little bit motivated here. I would say, what was his issue? It's hard to say. When we first started, against my better judgment, when we first got into this arrangement, I work a lot with legal language and plan documents and such, and so I had drawn up this partnership agreement to try to cover everything, and he felt it was too convoluted. He felt like it was too it was over his head. I don't think he understood it. And I said, well, fine, we can basically keep the main points in. So he was always, and he accused me of not trusting him because we wanted something in writing, and I found that was odd, and obviously, and I, like I say, against my better judgment, and trying to be too nice to him, that was my fault. Went ahead and did this anyway because I had already put the money down, and I was considering getting somebody else to do the work, but he really said he wanted it, he needed it, and I think I became too charitable with him. Said, okay. So we anyway, long story short, every single time I wanted to follow up with him, where he was at, what he's doing, he would get defensive, he would get argumentative. And I'm in Utah. He was doing this clear out in Idaho Falls. So it was a long distance project for me, and my first. And I'm thankful for all the things I've learned, but I can see where it was hard to manage. It was hard to supervise because he kept, and I didn't have the time to drive all the way out there. Although I did maybe on 2 occasions, and found that he wasn't doing anything, that resulted in arguments. Trying to get him to do what he said he was going to do. But anyway, I suspect that he just was in over his head. I think he claimed to know more than what he actually did because he struggled with the HVAC, didn't know how to make sure that was up to code. I think he's an expert in drywall, maybe a little bit of electrical, mud, tape, paint, those kinds of things. But I don't, as far as having the ability to do a full-on rehab like this one, I don't think he had the skill set like he said he did.
Yeah.
So, and I wonder what he was doing while he was there, because all the work that I saw he did versus the time he had, he just wasn't. I wonder what he's been up to. What is he doing? So,
where do you find this guy? Is this a friend?
So my sister is close friends with his wife. They talk every single day, which is another play and key into it, right? That's why I was like, hey, let's see if we can work this out. Yeah, it was just, anyway.
Okay.
Lessons learned.
I get it. So I'll be completely frank with you. I've done a lot of fix and flips. I do a lot of stuff around the country. And so I'm just calling about this property here. Between you and me, I'm just telling you, it's probably in your best interest to break even and not be underwater, right?
I'd be happy with that, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking, so obviously, I don't know if I can possibly do that, but obviously, I don't think it'd be in your best interest for me to buy this thing, try to buy it for $200, because obviously that wouldn't work for you. So you're getting the appraisal. It sounds good. I got a couple options for you here. I'm just trying to think what's best for you. You're in a weird situation with title and things like that. But
right.
Trust me, there's nothing that really phases me here. So there's a couple options here. Number one, we can always work with this other guy. I don't think is he in La La Land with what he thinks it's worth? Like,
yeah, he kept saying after we repaired it that he kept thinking we would get $320,000 out of it. I said, hey, market's taking a dip, interest rates, Fed rates keep rising. This puts, as you know, this stifles the market. Come on, 320. Yeah, that was the price maybe a few months ago, but currently I keep looking at prices over there in Idaho Falls. I keep seeing houses that are similar selling for $260, $280, to be honest. So
okay, well, is this kind of funny to say, but this is situations I've been with forever, so I'll just tell you what I think on this. Now, I'm not saying this is your situation, but this situation I'm dealt with. I've bought a lot of properties from people that are going through a divorce. And when divorces happen, the wife thinks the house is worth $500,000 and the husband knows it's worth $200,000.
right.
And then it's a bypass, right? And they hate each other. And what are we going to do? This seems not as bad. This seems like a similar situation. So you do have options with this, right? So, you can buy the guy out. You can kind of force him to sell, right? At a 50-50. There's a lot of ways around it. But between you and me, if I never buy this house, this is good advice. You just have to make the guy come to reality. And that'll be the cheapest thing for you. Because buying the guy out at 320 will lose you more money than not. And that's what I've honestly seen with those type of situations. But I could tell you, I know some of the biggest fix and flippers in Idaho. And so personally, I'm a guy that likes to get really good discounts. This probably is not it for me, but I do have some partners that are the top guys, and they'll pay a little more than me. So I might want to go with them and see if they want to work with me on this and see if there's any way I could possibly help you out here. On top of that too,
So
right?
You'd be seeking a wholesale, basically.
I wouldn't wholesale it. No, I would work. I would just give it to one of my partners. Like I don't want a fee off of this.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
So I'm just, I wholesale with them, but I wouldn't wholesale this house. I just give this, the title's so murky. They would probably want something creative possibly with you on this. If it's a little too overpriced, but that's the stuff I probably just don't want to fee on. These are just guys I know. And I might just give it to them, but no, I do wholesale, but I don't see myself wholesaling this. I mean, would you take payments on this if this guy gets a little too crazy and we could renovate the property? Like, I mean, do you have like a hard money loan on this?
We do, and it's probably helpful to know on your end, I have the means to go ahead and pay that off today. I just don't want to put good money after bad.
Yeah.
And that's because of the murky title. Now, as I say, that's where I'm trying. That's what you said. I love it. We're on the same page. It's the same thing I'm thinking. Got to get him to reality. That's why the appraisal, and then show him those results as well as any other comparables I can show him. I've sent him emails about what's going on in the market from my real estate agents, and that's so we'll see how he responds. But once him and his wife sign off, and then title's clear, it's going to be fine. But yeah, I have the means to go ahead and take care of it. It's just the challenge is that it's at a distance, right? It's 3.5 hours away. That's why I'm willing to just let it go if I have to, right? I mean, if it makes sense to. So,
okay.
Or, maybe even I would even be open to a partnership idea. Maybe that doesn't make
I don't think you need another partner right now, Jeremy. Okay, man. I'm just being honest. You're probably getting a million calls from wholesalers probably for the next week or two. That's probably not going to be the best for you. What I can tell you right now is get that appraisal. Let me know what it says. I'm gonna talk to my partner, and he's probably going to call you. If I'm going to wholesale it, I would tell you. But I'm probably not going to wholesale this one. I would have him do it. And so whoever you talk to, make sure they're legit. They're not a wholesaler. And let me have a talk with him. And he'll probably get in contact with you and see if there's anything we can do to help you out. It might be a creative solution with the hard money. I know some ways around that, but that hard money is going to be a thorn in your side. So let me talk and see what we can do. But you talk with your other partner here, and I can see, because I probably can't do 240, but let me see if my other guy will. He might a little overpay for it for you, but let me see what I can do, man.
All right, yeah. Let me ask you a few questions too, Zach. It's okay. You mentioned where you invest all over the country. Where are you actually located?
I'm in Florida.
Florida, okay.
But I'd be working. I would just give it to my guy in Idaho.
Uh-huh.
I think they do 150 flips a year.
Okay. So how long have you been in the industry?
I've been in the industry for 6 years.
6 years. So do you typically, what kind of things are you looking for when you go out and buy?
I want to make money.
Right, but more detail. Are you looking for? I guess, are you looking? Do you buy and hold? Are you looking? What is it that qualifies you to actually invest in it besides giving it off to someone else?
If I can rent it out for the right cap rate, usually for me, just to buy it.
Okay, so you usually do buy and hold, because that's actually something I do too. I've always been doing buy and holds. Anyway.
All right. Well, let me talk to him, and I'll reach out to you and see what we can do. All right.
All right. What's your contact, Zach?
The phone number I'm calling you at. Yep. All right. Have a good one, Jeremy. Oh, that's a lot going on there. He's trying to see if I'm a buyer for him, right? All right. So let me give my thoughts on this. Let me kind of break this down. This is not a deal per se where I'm going to go in, try to lock the guy up and do it. He's a very savvy guy. Okay. He's a savvy guy in a tough situation. I feel for him here, right? Here's the thing. Let's just be honest. All right. He's in a bad situation here. He's in a rough one. He's with a bad partner. He tried to get me to partner with him, right? He's a very trusting guy. And unfortunately, it's a rough situation, right? And so he needs to probably sell it for cash, but he's definitely underwater on this deal. He's 100% underwater on this deal. So between you and me, a creative finance deal is probably gonna be the best. And I'm thinking here for him, he's probably gonna have to pay that hard money loan, and I can give him payments on the property until he recoups that money, probably 4 or 5 year lease option. Because with lease option, I give him something up front. I fix up the entire property, probably put the 30, 40 grand into it, arbitrage in between that, and then sell it for the right price in 5 years. That's going to be the best thing. But I don't think I can wholesale it. It's a creative deal. I don't see any way I can wholesale it. I do have a guy there in Idaho, which I know he flips like 150 houses a year, roughly. So I'm going to see if that guy will buy it for 240 just to help the guy out. I don't think I'm going to make an assignment. Maybe a $5,000 assignment. Like he might, but like he's one of the guys that I just send wholesaling deals to, and he will buy them from me. So I just might throw him a bone there. It's not a big deal for me. Maybe just help the people out. I just want to do what's right. Try to help the guy out. But yeah, it's weird. I just be careful with it, man. But yeah, he's ready to bring me deals. Let's get out of your situation first, and let's deal with that. But I feel terrible, but you just got to do the right thing, right? And so this seems like a creative deal. Looking at this property here, right? Like I just see it. It's a bigger house, and let's look at and he bought it in October, right? And now we're in here. We haven't got even the data yet, but he's at 359. It's going to go down because, right, it's probably at 350 right now. His equity's down by probably roughly 20% because they only have January data. They didn't get the March yet, right? And so he's definitely underwater. That's a rough deal for him, right? Like he's definitely underwater on this property. What's 20%, right? So if the thing was actually maybe it's worth 250, but like he's probably underwater by 30, 40 grand on this deal. He just bought it way too high, got 10% hard money loan, and tried to bank on appreciation, and he got in trouble there, right? That's why when I fix and flip, I got to make 70K on a deal minimum. He was probably going to make 30, 40K, but the problem is the piece of real estate went down 40K. Now he's at zero. And with realtors and stuff, he's in a negative. And so the only way I can help this guy out is probably with creative financing. I hate to say it, but like 240 is too pricey for me. The comp's 210. You got to put 50 into it. 260. The thing's probably worth 220. He's in it for 240. Like he's underwater 20 grand. I can't wholesale that, right? A lot of flippers right now, guys and gals, they are in the situation where they bought during the height. So about June of last year was the height, right? We're kind of seeing the data here. We're seeing the data here. It really was the height, this time. And then it's just boiling down, right? And this is not the entire country. I hope everyone this is a very small. Idaho was always cheap real estate. Nobody wanted to live in Idaho, but for some reason during the panoramic that happened, it shot up like insane. Like, let me show you the value here. It shot up, went crazy in value, and now it came up really high, and now it's going to fall really bad. Now, Florida was like this, but why isn't Florida rose like crazy? Because zero income tax, everyone wanted to go to a warm state, nice. But why isn't it dropping like we're seeing in Idaho? Because when the real estate went weird and like the market got a little weird, people stayed in Florida because it's cheaper than going back to California and New York. People stayed in Florida. People aren't staying in Idaho, and they went out, and the market couldn't deal with it. The reason why Idaho went crazy is because the population wasn't mixing with the prices. Florida grew the most in the 2020 census over any other place. It grew 1.9% more than any other state. So we had a population to sustain that price increase. The problem is Idaho doesn't have that. And so the guy's in trouble here. I'd probably say creative finance, he gutted it. The guy probably stole some stuff. Who knows? But like, not the guy I'm talking to, the other guy, he's in a bad situation. And so this is a really, really tough situation for that seller. I got to help them out, right? And I think a creative finance will probably be the best one, so he doesn't lose all of his money. And then with good equity, I'll probably make money in 5 years on this, right? Like that'd probably be the best thing for him.